ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla 2019 from Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And before I forget, like I did with Mothra, the box, it's silver, it's blue. It looks a lot like NECA's Godzilla KOTM stuff. Not too much to report on here, save for what's on the back and the promo photos strewn about. That's pretty much it. There we go. We're done. Paint and detail. So a lot like GVK Goji, we're going to see the same kind of painting method really take place on KOTM Goji over here. Just a lot of raised areas with paint in between. I will say, however, yeah, the GVK Goji's paint definitely felt a little bit cleaner as compared to this. Cleaner and a right bit more complete. The chest and neck, torso area overall just kind of feels like it's missing some paint applications. Like over here, the very dirty, muddy look, I feel like a little bit more of that could have really gone a long way over here, especially once you look into the neck and see more of it there, and then it's just mostly the base color there with whatever color this is in between all of the wrinkles and scales and such. But as far as paint goes, I think really that's my only complaint. Just the chest torso area looking like it could have used a bit more. NECA's KOTM Goji had a similar thing going on, but I feel like that was distributed a little bit more evenly across the figure. Not knocking Hiya Toys or anything like that, just stating my personal feelings here. But I do like how the paint job came out. I like that a lot of it just highlights all of the different bumps, grooves, crevices, the whole 9 yards, especially over here on the tail, where it feels mostly complete. Because as you can see, we've got dark, muddy, dirty over here, clean for the most part over here, and then a little bit more of that dark, muddy look towards the tip. Ironically enough, the opposite side of the tail feels a lot more complete in that aspect. But I guess the important thing to focus on here is just that the figure is fully painted. There's a few areas that could have used more, and it doesn't look like a bloody mess that you spent over $100 on SH Monster Art Shin Godzilla. The reissue, the one that I actually own. Not shit-talking a figure I don't own. And as far as I can tell paint-wise, the only major flub I can see is just this white speckle thingy over here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I haven't tried dealing with it because I just don't want to mess this figure up because I quite like it. But now we gotta talk about the area that I'm sure a lot of people really want to see nice and up close. The head. First off, I feel the teeth were done up a lot better this go around. They just feel a lot less muddy and a lot less messy, I think. And I gotta give Hiya Toys credit, the detail on the head over here is fantastic, and it is different from the GVK version. Don't worry, we'll do our comparison a little bit later. And I do very much enjoy the eyes. They're a little bit bigger this go around, and they look mostly pointed forward. It's kind of hard to see just because they're so small, yet bigger at the same time. I don't know, from a side view, I feel like you can see them a lot better. From a front-on view, it's kind of like, I don't know. But like I said, for the most part, they look mostly forward. No wonk eye here. Okay, maybe that eye is a little on the wonky side, now that I'm, like, looking at it all zoomed in. Not too bad. I mean, it doesn't look like NECA's KOTM Goji. The V1, at least. Oh, yeah, but the eyes, little bit of a hit. Just a little bit. This eye is definitely the better eye of the two. This one looks a little rough. But again, ain't this? Oh, my goofy boy, I've missed you. Anyway, paint and detail, 2 solid stars, couple of rough patches here and there, and a little flub on one of the eyes here. Alright, I can overlook it, Now, I know I already gave my rating, but I want to cover the neck and the dorsal fins really quickly, because they do differ from GVK Goji, and there's actually a couple of areas on this figure that differ from GVK Goji. So, yeah, let's get to that. Starting with these dorsal fins. I really like how they look, and I was, yet again, very surprised to see just how much they differ from GVK Goji's dorsal fins. In fact, just the way that they look on this figure and the way that they're painted up, they almost look like trees. Some of them almost look like a knot in a tree. Some of them look like tree bark. I don't know how else to further describe it, but they look like an extension of Godzilla's skin and not bones sticking out of his body, which is cool. With GVK Goji over here, you can see the differences almost instantaneously. I don't know if if it was like that in the movie. Somebody will have to fact check me here. But the dorsal fins are different. GVK Goji has a bit more of a fleshier center, and the tree knot bark looking details are a little bit softer this go around. And again, differentiating the two from one another, Hiya did a pretty good job. Like, I really didn't think the difference was going to be all that crazy until I got KOTM Goji out of the box, and yeah, right away, it's not just the paint, there's going to be some differences in the chest as well. The legs appear to be mostly the same, and the necks and heads, I mean, forget about it. GVK Goji's head is going to be a little bit bigger. KOTM Goji's head's going to be a little bit smaller. We have 3 neck pieces on KOTM Goji versus the 2 on GVK Goji. And even those are different to an extent. The dorsal fins overall are going to appear much different as compared to GVK Goji. And I feel like the details moving from GVK Goji to KOTM Goji definitely got the upgrade. And it does help that KOTM Goji can look a little bit further up than GVK Goji can, but I do have my issues with the new neck. Granted, my personal issues with the neck isn't going to sit the same for everybody out there, and I don't think my issues with the neck really break this release in any way, shape, or form. I'm just informing you of what I went through when I got this guy out of the box. So GVK Goji's neck pieces, they're a bit more solid and obviously free-floating. KOTM Goji's neck pieces over here are rubberier, have a lot more paint on them, and were actually stuck together outside of the box. For anybody that saw my picture rampage last night on Twitter, yeah, this guy's head was maybe a couple of inches lower than it could actually go. That's because the neck pieces were a little bunched up, and it kind of looks like they added too much paint over here, and I'll show more in a bit, and they kind of just dried and got stuck together. But now, I can get the head looking up much, much higher, and you know, it's to a point where I like the way it is, and I feel like, yeah, it definitely doesn't go up as much and as straight as Sham Goji does, but this is definitely a good fix as compared to this. Not shit-talking GVK Goji, still a lovely, fine figure, so I wanted to touch base on the overall appearance of the neck. I mean, from any angle, I think it looks pretty good. I feel like there might be a bit of a paint imbalance in some areas, but I mean, Godzilla's crawling through the water, dirt, whatever the heck. Maybe he's just a dirty boy. But we can articulate a little bit and separate things, and yeah, I guess I can showcase the rubberier side of the neck this time around as compared to what GVK had. And yeah, you can definitely see how these got stuck together, right? There's a lot of paint on these pieces, especially over here under the head. This was the one that was stuck the most, and I was having a freaking agita attack just trying to essentially just do this and kind of wiggle it all free. Again, that may or may not be something that you run into on your copy. It might have just been a me thing. It's happened before. But yeah, just the slightest little complaint over the mixture of this tan, muddy looking paint over here. Doesn't really feel properly balanced. I mean, to me, at least, it might feel different to other people. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. I'm not taking points off of it. I just wanted to showcase it a little bit further than I did prior. Because, you know, the neck was a big point of contempt for people. They didn't like the gap. They didn't, you know, think that it allowed Godzilla to move his head up higher than it should have. And I don't know. I think Hiya Toys did a pretty dang good job here. We have a ball joint up here, and yeah, you can go all the way around up here. Godzilla's jaw can open, and at least on my copy, when it comes to closing the mouth, it doesn't stay closed. I've tried messing about with the tongue and such. He just kind of gets gapy-mouthed all by himself, so yeah, I don't know what's going on there. If anybody has a professional high-grade level fix for this that doesn't involve me taking the figure's head or jaw off or apart, please let me know. Yet again, the tongue can move down and up like so. And I guess since I didn't touch on it in my paint and detail portion, give me a break, it's a Sunday, I never work on Sundays. The inside of the mouth is going to be mostly the same as the KOTM version, just with different paint. Same amount of detail, same amount of paint. I think it looks pretty good. So now, the neck. As I stated before, we now have 3 neck pieces, not just 2. And I'm pretty sure it operates on the same, like, ball joint, hinge joint, or whatever that the GVK version had. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who knows what they're talking about. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Side to side motion. I was so obsessed with showing up and down that I forgot side to side. Hack job. But yeah, can go up and down like so, do be careful. And for whatever reason, we do sacrifice somewhat of a looking down pose for Godzilla as compared to the GVK version. But, I mean, again, we get the fix that we all friggin' wanted for this thing, and that's Godzilla looking up more, with a much more seamless look to it as well. So, giving Hiya credit right now, they went back to the drawing board. They took the criticism to heart and they actually fixed it. My only issue is that sometimes I feel like I'm pushing the neck to its limits, so I don't like doing that too much. I like to be delicate with my figures. I know that might be weird considering everything. I feel like the softer material for the neck was a good idea because you can kind of squish a little bit, but I do worry about the quality and the longevity of that material, if it's going to tear or crack over time. And I guess I'm really not all that bummed out about losing some downward motion at the head, because at least with the help of KOTM Goji's little ab crunch we got going on there, he gets kind of low, just not as low as GVK Goji. Alright, that's done and out of the way. So this is as far as I can comfortably get the figure leaning forward, and of course this will lead to full torso rotation. The dorsal fins and the lower part of the torso over here may catch on the thighs over here, but it's easy to navigate. And of course you can bring the torso back up like so, and the gap is completely gone. Fully. The arms are going to be able to go up about that far, back in like that. Full rotation, a little bit more on the tighter and solid side. That might just be my copy, or it might be an everybody thing. I don't know. We will get rotation at the elbows over here. We will get a bend in and a bend out at the elbows over here. And we will have a ball joint at the wrist that'll allow it to swivel, go down that far and up that far. Pointy nails, be careful. And now for the legs at the waist over here, we can go all the way around like so, nice and smooth. Legs can spread pretty decently as compared to how far in they can go. Not bad. Gonna get a double bend at the knee, as you can see. We get a swivel at the shin over here. Up and down motion at the ankle. Ankle can go all the way around, and we will get some pivots over here. Not bad. And now for the tail, just like the arms and the legs, it's pretty much exactly what we got with GVK Goji. You're gonna get a decent curve out of it, just don't push it too far. I always get worried messing with these tails. But for the most part, nice curve. And let's see if we can get another nice curve to the opposite side over here. Yeah, that ain't too bad. That's a little deep. There we go. Tail can somewhat curve up like so, but like even with SH Monster Arts, it doesn't hold it all that well. And then we can curve the tail down, just like that. And we can move the legs back and get Godzilla's arms all the way at his side over here. Get the head looking up, and Goji swimming. Look at that guy. Agile little alligator. So as far as articulation goes, I'm going to give this guy a solid star. The major improvements needed were made, and I don't think the figure sacrificed it still looking pretty good as well. Maybe this particular figure will appease the people that weren't exactly impressed with GVK Goji. And now let's move on over into some size comparisons. Size-wise, not too much has changed from GVK Goji to KOTM Goji. KOTM Goji scales just as well with the rest of the Hiya outfit as you'd expect, and when compared to other figures, dependent on their size, he's either bigger or smaller than them. I don't have much else to say there. I kind of just really liked pairing him up with a bunch of KOTM Gojis and random assortments. But as far as size goes, size, length, width, height, the whole 9 yards, did I just say width? I'm entirely happy with what we get, yet again. And I can only hope that with future Hiya Toys releases, they remain around the same. Unless, you know, now that they can do classic stuff, they make a gigantic fuck-off Shin Godzilla figure, which I want very, very badly. Posability-wise, I would put this on par with GVK Goji with the added DLC bits of the neck and the head just being able to move a bit higher. You're still going to get the overall deluxe NECA feel of the articulation here with some different bells and whistles, but for the most part, yeah, it's GVK Goji again, just with a different appearance for the most part. That's okay with me, man. I mean, I'm the guy that bought, I think, 7 or 8 of the same Shin Godzilla movie monster series mold, so I don't have a problem double dipping. Double dipping is just up to the eyes of the beholder. But here, in terms of articulation, you're gonna get the exact same thing, and it works. It really does. Could there be more? Sure. Am I upset that there isn't more? No, not really, because with the addition of the new neck and more movement in the head, I feel like this figure is pretty much just coming to its own, and if it gets any better from here, that's even better. I like that. Yeah, that's all I really have to say, honestly. Bet you thought we were done, huh? Got 2 more comparisons to do, rather quickly. Hiya KOTM Goji versus NECA KOTM Goji, and no contest. 0. None. But you see what I'm saying about these dorsal fins, right? How they look a little bit more on the wooden side, an extension of Godzilla's skin versus just something poking out of his back. I dig that little design feature. And as far as other places go, I mean, again, really no contest. I do think I prefer the NECA Godzilla's paint job overall. It's a little bit more on the even side, I think, especially in the neck area. But as far as neck movement goes, yes, I actually moved NECA Godzilla's neck and head. Yes, I know it really doesn't look like I did, but I did. And Hiya comes out on top. Now let's compare him to SH Monster Arts. Yes, I'm aware this is sham GVK Goji. I don't have KOTM Goji. Was never really impressed with it. Got a little bit of buyer's remorse not getting it, but now I don't care. Anyway, SH Monster Arts, I feel, still takes the cake when it comes to neck movement and such. Obviously, this guy's able to look exactly straight up. Meanwhile, KOTM Goji over here, he's still at an angle a bit. And yet, when you look at the Atomic Blast version of GVK Goji, I guess that's what that is, he's looking directly up, and I wonder if my KOTM copy is capable of doing that, or if the fixed version of GVK Goji just has better neck movement overall. We'll find out when that Atomic Blast version comes out, or when people start getting their upgraded GVK Gojis in and taking pictures and doing vidges and all that stuff. But yeah, just like last time, SH Monster Arts absolutely clears with neck articulation, and to a certain extent, torso articulation as well. But anyway, everybody, I am quite happy with this release. I have my issues here and there, but nothing that would even come close to telling me to tell you to deter yourselves away from this release. Don't. It's a good release. And after finally getting it in hand, looking at it and messing with it, I think it's a pretty good companion piece to that of GVK Goji versus a little bit of the same. There's enough different that warrants another purchase, whichever version you would like. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Sorry for dropping it to you on a Sunday, but I had to get it out of my system. I had to talk about it. I was very, very excited for this release. And when I see you all next time, I'm going to be talking about those Super 7 Godzilla vs. Biollante Ultimates whenever they show up sometime this week. They're saying Thursday. I hope it's sooner. But yeah, thanks for watching my stuff, everybody. Have yourselves a lovely rest of your weekend, weekday, whenever. I'm pretty sure the box this time is smaller. Maybe. Could be. Either way, thank you, INS Hobby. See you next time, everybody.